People were running in all directions. Slightly organized chaos at that point. It seemed like an endless night. We increased the size of the paper, clatter of the reporter typewriters, the special distinctive chatter of the teletype machines from Syndicate and AP and UPI wire services. For many hours, it seemed the newsroom was in almost constant motion. This went on for hours on end. Everyone seemed stoic. They were stunned like all of us, like everyone, but they were able to set aside their own personal feelings for a later time. Well, my name is Jim Wyman. I work for the Journal. At the time of the Kennedy assassination, I was city editor of the Evening Bulletin, which was the sister paper of the Morning Journal. I had just wrapped up the last of the copy for the city edition that day, November 22nd, 1963. I went to the Journal Diner across the street, across Fountain Street. I hadn't been there more than a few seconds before the telephone at the front desk started jangling, and it was the managing editor across the street looking for me, and with a very urgent message that President Kennedy's motorcade had been fired upon, and that he had likely been hit. It was remarkable, and it was noticeable that people had put aside their own personal feelings. As tragic and as horrific as the event was, people did not appear to be unduly moved. They showed no outward emotion, which was what they should have been doing. Shortly after 3 a.m., leaving the newsroom, getting into my car, and driving northward on Route 146. I had gotten to the top of the hill in Lincoln and was just starting down the hill toward the Ashton Viaduct over the Blackstone, when I suddenly realized I was being overwhelmed. Suddenly my eyes filled with tears, and I started weeping openly and unabashedly and with apparently no reason. It startled me, as a matter of fact, the deepness of the grief I suddenly felt. I wept for several minutes, and at one point my eyes were so clouded that I pulled the car off the road and slowed and stopped until I could regain my composure. And I realized ultimately that it was just the release that came after those long hours of tension, but they were no less real, and the grief I felt was genuine.